Stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K. Yeah, the point's right there. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today by downloading that Circle K app for free. You know I like to be honest and upfront with you here, and I'm going to continue to do that right now. I'm somebody that goes to therapy. Yeah, I'm man enough to admit it. Go to therapy on the regular, and I've learned a lot of valuable lessons while doing that. And one of them is that there is no shame in admitting when you're wrong. In fact, there's a power in admitting when you're wrong and then turning around and figuring out how to make repairs to make up for being wrong. And I've tried to embody that in my life, and I've tried to work on that over the years, and in particular lately. And I think that there's some people that could benefit from that around town. I know. I think there's apologies that are required coming up soon. When it comes to the Phoenix Suns and Jordan Ott and Brian Gregory. A lot of people around this town basically boiled down a lifetime's worth of work into 3 letters for those two gentlemen, M, S, and U. They discredited them, in particular Brian Gregory's 30-plus years of work in basketball. They discredited Jordan Ott's experience as an assistant coach. It is something that was a joke. I mean, literally, it was Michigan State Suns. I mean, we even made some of those jokes. It was looked down upon simply because the owner had played at MSU and then guys were being hired from MSU. Some that barely actually worked there. I mean, Jordan Ott had a brief time in the film room there. And then people looked down their nose at a plan because of one word that was oversaid and turned into a joke that happens to now be a true belief system for this franchise in alignment. I get that it's early, but the Suns are doing things that nobody thought they could. The Suns are well on their way to exceeding the expectations on their over-under for wins. They're far from being the worst team defensively, like many, including Bill Simmons, said that they'd be. And this team had a quiet confidence throughout the offseason about it. I sat here and said, hey, let's let these guys do the job first before we try to make any kind of blanket assumption about how they're going to be. A lot of people in town decided Brian Gregory was a giant joke, that he was just a puppet, that he was just a yes man. That's all he would be. And maybe I think that was misguided. Making an assumption just because somebody was hired for knowing somebody, that's how the world works. That's how every profession works. If you know somebody, you've got a better chance of getting the job because there's familiarity and trust. And in the end, that's what we all want, is be able to, have that familiarity. If you're delegating work to somebody as a leader, you want to know that that person's going to handle it to the best of their ability, and it's going to help what you're doing. Brian Gregory has done that. He navigated you through a very difficult offseason. I mean, I asked people very close to the situation. I said, why are you confident that Brian Gregory can be the guy to lead you through what may be the most important and most difficult offseason that you've had in forever with this franchise? And he said, because he knows basketball and he's got the smarts, and he knows how to rely on people around him. And it proved out so far. There's a lot of time. Things can change. But at the moment, I think people owe Brian Gregory an apology, because I can't imagine if you had worked in basketball for 30 years, and sure, you weren't in front offices, you were a coach, but you had that all distilled down to you spent like 6 years as an assistant coach at MSU, and that's the only reason you got a job. That's going to be insulting as hell to hear. Now, you handle it with grace in front of people, but that has to be insulting to hear, to just have your life's work discredited. And then it comes down to Jordan Ott, and everybody's like, well, just got the job because of MSU. You know, they ignored this, you know, people ignored this exhaustive search that they did, and they're like, he just got it because of that. Have we? I mean, look at what Jordan Ott's been doing. We've heard the word basketball savant, hoophead, nerd, all these things to describe him. Kenny Atkinson at Summer League could not sing his praises more. Yet there was the stigma about that. Even after his press conference, there was that stigma. Because people weren't sure. And all he's done is exactly what he told you he was going to do. He's come in with a quiet confidence, instilled an offense, knows basketball, talks basketball, lives, eats, breathes basketball, and has done it and helped galvanize this team. You can laugh at a word like alignment. You can laugh at the idea of MSU, but guess what? As of right now, it's working. And I think that sitting there and looking back on it, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you didn't have it right, that you judged, that you were misguided in the approach when it came to these two gentlemen. There's a human element to it too, and that's part of it. But right now, this team is aligned. That's a battle cry now. It's not a joke. This team is doing all the little things that they said. The culture has been different. The approach, like Matt Ishbia said about things, that this Suns team is going to make this city proud because they're going to do the little things. They're going to dive on the floor. They're going to help each other up. They're going to high-five fans. I mean, hell, did you see Devin Booker last night in Dallas? That little Suns fan that came out wearing his jersey when he had to run into the stands after trying to save a ball? Devin high-fives him, daps him up. It's cool to see the kid that was fist bumped as a baby getting his high fives now, too. But like all these little things have come to fruition. Yet what we do now is we're snarky, we take shots, we judge, and then nobody ever apologizes for it. Brian Gregory, Jordan Ott deserve an apology. Because if I've learned anything, there's power in accepting that you were wrong. And there's power in making those repairs. Because we're all wrong sometimes. And a lot of people were extremely wrong about Jordan Ott and Brian Gregory. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the dastardly dirt squirrel behind the Mac. That mustache is just spectacular that our friend Damon Dog is rocking. Damon, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Espo. I don't know if I set up this camera properly or not, so this might be a gamble here clicking on the old Shane scene.
Well, if you didn't, you didn't. No, you didn't. Elgato. Does that mean the cat?
It does.
The cat.
It does indeed.
You're the dog. Why are we seeing the cat?
Oh, I'm a wildcat.
You know, like, that's fair. You are a wildcat. You've been good, man? You doing well?
Absolutely.
How do you feel about Brian Gregory and Jordan Ott? You think some apologies are necessary?
Listen, I'll put my hand up and apologize a little bit. I feel like around here we were making some jokes, cracking some jokes, doing the Brian Gregory impressions with, Mr. Noah Wolbricht. And yeah, it seems like things are on the up and up in Phoenix Suns land. I'm excited. I am too, man. And I think that there will be some apologies necessary at some point. We're gonna talk Suns a little bit more in a second, and we've got Mark McClune coming up. But I gotta ask you this, Damon.
Sell me on why I should be excited about U of A football. Sell me on that right now. Why should I be excited about my alma mater and what they're doing now that they're bowl eligible? You're the Wildcat guy.
Yeah, I mean, Noah Fafita he is one touchdown away from becoming the all-time leading passing touchdown leader in Arizona football history. So that's a big.
Isn't that a low bar though?
Nick Foles? I mean, Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles. Like
Foles, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Khalil Tate was pretty decent. He's up there, and Willie Tuitama is tied with Nick Foles and Noah Fafita. Actually, there's a three-way tie at the top. You potentially have one of the greatest quarterbacks in Arizona football history here in the works, and so I think that's a pretty cool aspect of what's going on right now, as well as maybe. Potentially just, getting bowl eligibility and you have an opportunity to get all the way up to 9-3.
Did I tell you I was the proud owner of Willie Tuitama for Heisman.com?
No, I had no idea.
I was the leader in the clubhouse championing that when he first came on the scene for our friends at U of A when I was down there.
That's electric.
So, yeah.
Who could forget the BYU Las Vegas Bowl?
Yeah, I may accidentally still own that domain. I may never have canceled that a decade and a half later. We can check it out. I want to get to something before we take a break here. The Phoenix Suns are welcoming back a legend tonight. A legend is back in the building. Actually, multiple legends tonight. It's the Valley. The Valley uniforms are back. But more importantly, the Valley Court is back. We got some photos of it here in the arena from this morning that the Suns shared, and they are freaking beautiful. This is easily my favorite court of all time for the Phoenix Suns. I love the desert scene kind of branded into the court in that different veneer. I love the baselines in that that pattern that's on the Valley jerseys. They added a nice little touch in the key now. It says City Edition, which is sharp. It's not like that Miami Heat diatribe that they used to have in the key. I just say that because Damon is. Yeah,
you bring me on the show and then you take shots.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the way it rolls.
Fair enough.
Shane takes the same strays. Don't you worry.
It's just your Southwest bias.
It is. Well, it's just my bias against my producers, I guess maybe. So yeah, super excited to see the uniforms and the court back tonight as the Suns take on the Pacers, and we're going to have full coverage tonight, pregame, postgame. I'll be there. Eric Ruby will be there. You got Stephen Prigion Gardner, the context out from the morgue tonight, and Ayrton will be pushing all the buttons for us, the Freckle Mamba. So join us then. By the way, thank you to everybody in the chat, the biased Kara, my wife Tracy, Deborah, T, hello, Bees, the legend is in the chat. Good to have you there as well. So really appreciate each and every one of you joining us. If you have not hit that like button, hit it right now. If you are not a member of the Supporters Club, click that join button or the link in the chat. Become a Supporters Club member today. Unlock those great custom emojis and other stuff, great content that we have in there. Steven does some extended Steven studies. You want to check it out. And Stacker, Aaron Wilson, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Aaron, for throwing in those SWMs in the chat as well. A big game tonight, and I think there is a dub on the horizon as well for the Suns. So, yeah, smash that like button like it's a Lakers fan who just insulted you. All right, hit it hard. On the other side of the break, one of my favorite guys to talk to, he's doing some work at his home, and he was kind enough to take a few minutes for us. Mark McClune joins us on the other side of this break. You know it. You love it. I love it. I'm there every morning. It's Circle K. Why wouldn't you stop there on your way into work? They've got fuel for their car, and they got fuel for your body. I had that sweet nectar of the gods today from Circle K in my mug right now. I need a little bit of that caffeine kick. I'm cutting down a little bit, but I still got to stop at Circle K every morning to pick that up. Filled my tank up today and got a special 10 cents off per gallon just because they liked me. I mean, that's what they said. Hey, here's an extra 10 cents because you're just that awesome for being part of the Inner Circle. By the way, Boom Shakalaka likes the Circle K peach rings. I've heard they're spectacular. Try them as well. If you want to become a member of the Inner Circle, super easy. All you got to do is download the Circle K app today for free. Put in a little information, bam, you are part of the inner circle. Then you get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Then you're going to get 3 cents off per gallon after that, and then they're going to pull back the velvet curtain, open the rope, and you are part of the Espo level. 5 cents off per gallon plus, excuse me, I'm getting choked up talking about my friends at Circle K. And then Deborah says, you have to try one of those booms as well. Look, you're going to want to be a part of it. So download the Circle K app today. It's just that easy. For free, download it. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You're going to love it going out there to one of their 4 valley locations, Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vequiva, and Santan Mountain. They all have unbelievable gaming floors. In fact, 4,500 live games and slots on the floor out there. The best sports books in Arizona. You're going to want to be a part of it. And you're going to want to be out there for all the Cardinals road games for our watch parties out there at Wild Horse Pass. You want to be a part of it because there's nothing quite like the experience at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Great dining, great gaming, and if you go to Wild Horse Pass, one of the best resorts in the desert. So you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Excuse me. Choked up also because we got my friend, one of my favorites, Mark McClune, joining us. I believe he's going full Clark Griswald today. He's out there putting up Christmas lights. Is that what you're doing, Mark?
Yeah. Hey, moment of truth. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Hold on. All right. Ready? Drum roll.
Let's see. Do the lights work?
That would be a big negative. All right.
I think you're going to have some work to do after this.
I'm going to hire this one out.
How you been, man? You been good?
Yeah. The Suns are giving us some hope here in the Valley of the Sports. So, after the Cardinals weekend, which I'm going to chalk up to just having a lot of guys hurt and going and playing the best team in football, it's probably going to win the Super Bowl. Was a little down. I was kind of moping around. But, man, the Suns this week have kind of given us something to really sink our teeth into. So, I don't know that they're going to the NBA Finals, but I'm here for the Valley jersey. I'm here for the good vibes, and I'm here for Devin Booker smiling once again.
Okay, I need to know, Mark, are you one of the people that has to issue an apology to Jordan Ott or Brian Gregory because of the MSU tie?
You know what? I actually am on record on the Extra Point at 10:35 every night, the Valley's only night local sports show, is saying it's not like Michigan State is a school that isn't good at basketball or doesn't have people that know what they're doing when it comes to basketball. So I didn't have any expectations this year based on the last 2 years because I thought it was going to be harder to unwind. But I did think that they were bringing in good basketball people. And once I saw Steve Nash was back in the building and kind of seeing the way the Mercury played as well, I had hope. I don't think I was out there predicting that they were going to be a playoff team. But now I'm kind of thinking, I know it's November, but I think that there is reason for hope, barring injury, that we could have some really competitive games here in 2026.
What stood out most to you so far with this Suns team and what they've been able to do?
Man, just the way that the many different ways they can score, whether it's Grayson Allen setting the 3-point record in a game or him going to the cup last night and breaking ankles. I mean, I think Royce O'Neal is probably going to break his 3-point record at some point. It was like, who could get hotter the other night? And then they're like, okay, Grayson's here. So let's pass him the ball. I think Mark Williams, the block last night, I was sitting here, I was driving home, and I was like, man, that's a big play. And then I thought, why in the world did I not put that in the highlights? Because I had to be on right after the game. So I'm just beside myself with frustration that I did not put that in the highlights. I thought it was a big play. And I think just, Devin Booker, mid-range stuff, like there were a couple shots last night in the first half that I just thought were next level, MVP type stuff. So, you put Jalen Green back in this mix and you're like, man, I think they're going to.
Oh, looks like Mark froze here on us. Yeah, I agree, though. If you put Jalen Green back in this mix, it does kind of change a lot for this Suns team for sure. I think Mark might have electrocuted himself because those lights actually decided to come back on and click in. We'll have him call back here in a second, but I agree. I think they've had a lot go right, and Grayson Allen, I don't think gets enough credit for exactly what he's been able to do when it comes to this Suns team. I mean, sure, they're moving the basketball really well. The entire offense is predicated on good ball movement. And I think that is such a huge thing. But Grayson has to hit those open shots. Just because 60% of his looks have been wide open without a defender within 6 feet of him, it's one of those things that he's hitting him at 50%. He has to hit at a high level if he's going to be there, right? And it's really encouraging offense. I mean, yeah, it's otherworldly what he's been able to do for a guy that had a disappointing year last year. Let's be honest. He had a down year, a lot of questions about, if he had physically come prepared for the year, but he's been great. He's added this thing. I learned this term last night because I don't know all the technical terms in basketball. A Pinoy step is what our friend Steven has taught me about, and he's been able to do that, and he downshifts with it to confuse the defense. So he's getting to the hoop at a fantastic rate as well. Mark mentioned Royce O'Neal also, which he has found a way to consistently hit his shots. The biggest knock on Royce O'Neal in the past has been that he's a fluky shooter, right? That it comes, it goes. It's not always great. And that's not been the case this year because I think he's getting more quality looks than he's ever gotten before. And a lot of that credit goes to Jordan Ott for his ability to create a scheme that has so much movement that they're finding guys with open looks like that. And that has been spectacular on their part. It's been an entire team effort. And if you had told me Jalen Green was going to miss all but like one game so far in these first games, I would have said you're done for. If you had told me Devin Booker wasn't doing every last thing offensively for this team with Jalen Green out, I would have said you're crazy. That was the only way to make it work. And I guess I owe an apology to Jordan Ott on that front because his system has made things so much better than we could have imagined, at least offensively and defensively, quite frankly. They're a top 5 defensive team right now when it comes to since the last 6 games, which has been a huge part of why they've been able to win. He's got a system on both ends of the court that has these guys buying in, believing. Belief is such a huge factor when it comes to all this. If you do not believe in yourself, if you do not believe in the guy next to you, if you do not believe in the system that your team is marching out there night in, night out, you will fail. You will fail miserably because you either succeed as a team or you are going to die out there on the court as individuals. And we watched individuals go out there and try to make things happen the last 2 years, and guess what? It did not work. You had coaches that they didn't believe in. You had teammates that they didn't trust. You had defenses that just didn't work. Everybody's like, oh, Devin Booker's defense is so much better this year. No, Devin Booker's defense looks better because he's got a guy behind him that he can trust to protect the rim. He doesn't have the Yusuf Nurkic's of the world and the Mason Plumlees and the poo-poo platter of 7-footers that they rolled out there. He's got Mark freaking Williams that he knows is going to be back there, and if a guy gets by him, Mark Williams is going to take care of it. So Devin Booker can take more chances on defense. Devin Booker can look like he's going all around and doing crazy things on defense because he has a guy that he can trust, because he has a defensive system where every guy knows where they're supposed to be. Are they switching screens? Are they dropping back? Who's rotating the guy in the corner when they rotate? Is it everybody switching at all times? They know what they're doing. Communication is key. And without this defense, this team is not where they're at. If they had, they started the season slow, giving up 70 points in the first half, I believe, in their first 3 games. Then they figured it out. And they did it even without Dylan Brooks, who's supposed to be the heart and soul of that defense. They found multiple different guys. Isaiah Livers came in for a stretch and helped. You have Jordan Goodwin, who's been fantastic, the two-way guard that was the last to make the roster, who's done all the little things. As the contact Stephen Prigion Gardner likes to call them, it is the blue-collar boys that are doing the work as well. These are things that are repeatable. These are things that are not outliers that they're doing. They are things that they can continue to do night in, night out. Will there be nights that things slip? Of course. Every NBA team has that. Heck, The Lakers lost by a gajillion last night to the Denver Nuggets. Does that mean they're going to lose all their games like that? I hope, but probably not. So there'll be off nights, and this is a fun run with 4 in a row and 6 of 7, I believe. But at least we're enjoying it right now, and I think there's a lot that you look at and you go, okay, this is real. The quality of shots they're getting, maybe they won't hit it at 45%, 50%, but they're still going to get good looks. Yesterday was a good microcosm of it. First quarter, really, really bad shooting. Really bad shooting. Defense for the first 8-9 minutes was pretty bad. Defense kicked in. Jordan Goodwin started hitting shots. It turned everything. They're up by the end of the first after being down double digits. Then the shooting catches fire at parts in the second half. You build that lead. Then the offense it runs into a defensive approach by Dallas that did better. And wound up, they're one of the better defenses. They wound up working their way back in the game. Guess what the Suns did? Went back to basics and got the win. This team is good. Not great. They're good. They're going to be right where a lot of us thought, in that 500 range. Shot at the play-in. Maybe if things go right, and knock on wood, touch metal, whatever your thing is, there's no injuries and Jalen Green comes back and they take it to another level, maybe they're a playoff team. But overall, everything that was told to us this summer has come to fruition so far. They're going out there and they're doing the little things. Jordan Ott is a master. Let me say this, and I mentioned it on the Sun Show, but a master at the other team starting to gain momentum, and they're going to not be able to continue it because he can call a timeout. He's going to call a timeout and stop that run. Where other coaches in the past will let it go, hope the team's going to... No. Jordan Ott, right there, bam. Timeout, regroup the guys. We're going to have a play coming out of this timeout that's going to get us a score and going to stop the bleeding. It's going to change the momentum a little bit. Has done that masterfully. He's figuring out his rotations and has been able to do that as well. It's been a fantastic start to the season, and I think we might have Mark back. I want to check in on. Did you electrocute yourself in the garage? Is that what happened? We lost him again, didn't we? Yeah, we lost him.
No,
again.
we're just getting him back.
Oh, okay, we're getting him back. Did you electrocute yourself in the garage? Is that what happened?
Pretty much. I didn't realize my phone could overheat this far into the nice weather. So yeah, I basically thought, nothing works. Nothing works at my house. I need to go into work because doing handyman stuff around the house is not. Yeah. Sorry. How much did you have to tap dance there? Should I go back and watch and we can see your ad-libbing ability?
Let me tell you, unlike you who forgets to put Mark Williams highlights in your packages, I'm a master at just going by the seat of my pants, sir. That is what I was hired for, was making crap up and making it sound good. That is the whole premise of this program, Mark.
Well, I apologize for putting you at that position at a moment's notice. I actually had about 3 more points, and then I looked up and I was like, Espo? Are you? So I ran in and threw my phone in the freezer, but that just like reset my phone. I got back in. You were garbled, and so I had to fire up. That was the anxiety attacks for this business.
I actually was garbled. I was just nonsense. I didn't have anything. Do you want to play our game?
I've been looking forward to this all day. I need this. Yeah, I need something good. Yeah.
If you're new to the program, every time Mark shows up, I make him play a ridiculous game because I like subjecting him to that, and he deserves it today after his phone overheating. So we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna play Clark Griswold or Arizona sports fan. Since you were out in the garage with the Christmas lights, this is either something that an Arizona sports fan has said on social or something Clark Griswold said in one of the vacation movies. Not just Christmas.
Let's do it.
In one of them.
Can I? What about Fletch lines? Do Fletch lines count?
Fletch lines don't count. Different character, but good movie. The remake, not so good with John Hamm, but good movie with Chevy Chase there. We've lost the entire young demo. We're just old man talking now. Clark Griswold, or Arizona sports fan. Here's the first one. Worse? How could things get any worse? Take a look around here. We're at the threshold of hell.
I'm going to go Christmas Vacation. Clark Griswold in the impassioned speech to his family before they, I don't want to give away the plot if you haven't seen it yet, but kidnap his boss.
I'm sorry. If you haven't seen it yet, you've had 40 years. Shut up. You can deal with a spoiler if that's the case. All right? The spoiler is you didn't watch the movie, and that's on you. By
the way, okay, so watch that in The Christmas Story. My best friend from high school, his sister started dating Ralphie in their 20s. That was
Nice.
That was the strangest thing ever. Yeah.
Die Hard Christmas movie, real quick.
Absolutely. Yes,
Good.
all of them.
If you had said no, we were going to act like your phone overheated again. So here's your next quote. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass, kiss your ass. Happy Hanukkah.
Clark Griswold.
That is correct. Next one. I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey that he is.
I think that's followed by Where's the Tylenol? Clark Griswold.
That is correct. It does sound like it could have been any fan talking about an owner in this town for the last decade, for sure.
Sounds like the chat. Yeah.
All right.
How's the chat doing today? Is the chat, are they being nice to you?
They are.
Yeah.
And Boom Shakalaka said that was Clark Griswold's rant to the former disgraced owner of the Phoenix Suns. It sounds about right.
Did they get you gifts, by the way? Like for holidays? Does the chat people, is there some sort of we appreciate the outlet, the creative outlet here?
There is. They show up day in, day out, and that's gift enough. Their presence is my present. So, final one for you. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I don't think that's Clark Griswold. I'm gonna
actually they were all Clark Griswold.
Oh, okay. Which one's that from?
I believe that's from Christmas. No, that's from Vacation.
Okay. Yeah, the original European Vacation was actually my favorite.
Vegas Vacation was actually my favorite because
Nick Giorgio from Arizona. Yeah.
Exactly. The fake Arizona license. That's why I loved it. So I was at that age where it was like, can I actually pull that off? Could I Papa Giorgio it there? So Mark, we didn't get into sports, but we got to play our game, and that was fun. Next time, we'll talk more sports, and I actually at some point want to get into why you got in this business. I want to hear your story. We've been talking to people around media about that as well, so maybe we'll go a slight bit serious as well, but I'll still hit you with some crazy game.
Happy to do that, and I will definitely not be opening up a Christmas lights company anytime soon.
That's good because nobody wants to see you doing that work. Mark, always a pleasure. You can watch him on Arizona Family, and you can catch him tonight at 10:30. He does the Lord's work when it comes to sports. Mark, thanks so much.
Yep, see you tonight. Thanks for having me on.
That is another edition of Southwest Bias in the books. Thank you to the dastardly dirt squirrel, the beautiful mustache behind the Mac. He's Damon Dog, and we are all Damon's dogs. Woof, woof. You can follow him at Damon Dog on Twitter, DAWG. You can follow the program at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, if you're putting up Christmas lights and you're trying to be on a sports show, don't let your iPhone be in the sun because it'll overheat and then you have to throw it in the freezer and then eventually you get back on the show. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.